welcome to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. My name is Amanda, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about making soap. In particular, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a soap out of lard. Lard is rendered pig fat, and it's one of those kind of forgotten, inexpensive ingredients that you can use to make a beautiful, soft, lathery soap that really moisturizes. People always think when you make a soap out of lard, it's going to smell like pork or bacon or something like that, but it just smells like clean, beautiful soap. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So here are the things that you're going to need in order to make your own soap. First of all, in this pot, I have got my melted lard. Is I've just whatever kind of amount of lard that I have, kind of heated it up in the microwave just to the point of melting. All right, so but you want to make sure that you know the temperature of the two main ingredients that you're going to use in this soap, which is going to be the fat, and then also you're going to need a water and lye mixture. Lye is sodium hydroxide, and that is what is traditionally used to make soap. Okay, so I've got two pots. The big pot for the fat, which is where I'm going to add the water and lye mixture to, and then another pot where I'm going to mix the water and lye together. Okay, so those are the two things we need as far as pots go. And then other items that you're going to need, as I said before, you're going to need lye crystals. Okay. You can just make a plain soap with this recipe. I am going to add essential oils to it as well, just to kind of give it a nice scent, but you don't have to do that. It will be a beautiful kind of clean flavored soap without that. Okay, so I've got the lye crystals, I've got the essential oils, I've got two little bowls to measure, because everything we want to weigh. Okay, that's how we're going to kind of make sure we have the exact right amount of everything. So we've got two bowls to weigh one bowl for the essential oils, one bowl to weigh the lye. I've got a measuring cup so I can weigh the water that we're going to add. Then obviously, if we're talking about weighing everything, we need a really reliable scale. I have a spatula and this wooden spoon to stir things with. We want metals or that are non-reactive, like stainless steel, okay, for our pots, and also for our or non-metals like plastic or wood for stirring. Then I've got my one candy thermometer over here already in my pot of the fats, and then we want another candy thermometer that we're going to use in the pot with the water as well, okay? Because measuring the temperature of both is going to be kind of what ensures our success. Other things we need, we need a stick blender. This is not absolutely required, but we use this to mix the fats and the lye solution together, and it kind of accelerates what they call trace, which is where the saponification process is happening, and these kind of ingredients are turning into soap. So this just speeds it up. If you don't have a stick blender, you're just going to have to like beat the soap with a wooden spoon or whatever you're using for a while until that happens. This just makes it faster. Other thing you will need, definitely, are rubber gloves. Also, some safety goggles, just in case any of the lye solution splashes on you. I wear glasses, so that's okay for me. All right. You're going to want to wear old clothes as well. And then lastly, you're going to need a mold for your soap. I've got a super fancy, like actual soap mold here, which I'm going to line with parchment paper. But you could use plastic Tupperware. You could use an old milk carton. Lots of different options for what you're going to use for your soap molds. All right. So it's kind of, and then of course, the last thing we're going to need is a really good recipe. So what I've gone and done is I've used something called Soap Calc, which is a website where you enter in the fats that you have, and it will tell you all the other ingredients that you need. Okay, so then I'm going to put my pot on here, and then I'm going to press the 0 button to make sure that it all measures 0. And I'm going to measure my 288 grams of water. Put that over here. Now I'm going to put I want my 24 grams of essential oils. Okay, it's going to be up to you which ones you choose. I have got peppermint, lavender, and lemongrass. And I'm going to do about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Okay, so there are our essential oils in here. I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're going to line our mold. This is just going to make it so we can get the soap out of here. If you're using something like a milk carton that you can just cut away, which is a great way to start, you don't need to worry about lining it. Now we're going to get our gloves on, where the serious stuff happens, and we're going to get the lye. 102 grams of lye. Okay, so now we're going to gradually add the lye to the water. You don't want to do it the other way around. If you add the water to the lye, this will get really, really hot and it's dangerous, okay? This is where you also want to turn on your fan so that way any fumes will not irritate you, okay? We're just going to gradually add the lye. And what you're going to notice is this creates an exothermic reaction, which will cause the temperature of the lye water mixture to increase. Now you want to keep stirring until all those lye granules are dissolved. What we want now is we want to kind of wait for this to cool off until it gets between the range of 30 and 40 degrees Celsius. And we want the fats that we're using, the lard, liquid lard, to be in the same temperature range. That's what we're looking for before we mix them together. Okay, so what you can do is you can wait for this to cool off naturally. You can put it in a nice water bath if you want to make that happen a little bit faster. It's up to you, but basically you just need to get both fats within the range of 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. Once the mixtures came to temperature, we gradually poured the lye into the fats, and then we start blending with our stick blender, okay? Now, this is going to take a little while just because lard is not always the happiest kind of fat recipe to come to trace, is what they call it, which is when this thickens up, okay? We want it to be about the thickness of like a thick eggnog or a thin pudding, okay? So we are not there yet. So we're going to keep on blending at a low speed until we get there. Okay, so now you can actually see, draw across this, it leaves drips or a line, which is called trace, okay? So that took me about 20 minutes to get to trace, okay? So it can take a while, you have to be patient. All right, now we're gonna pour this into the mold. Okay, once you get to trace, you do want to pour this fairly quickly into your mold, just because it can solidify, then you won't be able to pour it. Now, this one's not as bad, this recipe, but some recipes will kind of go from trace to being solid very quickly. So don't waste time, have your molds ready. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this parchment paper over, like so, gently. And we're going to put this someplace warm for 24 to 48 hours to set up. And then at that point, you should be solid enough that you can cut it out into bars. We'll come back when that's ready. So now it has been 24 hours since we poured our soap into our mold, and we're ready to pull it out. Gently pull this out. And if you have used a milk carton, you can just cut the carton and peel it away. Okay. And that is your bar of soap. You probably should use gloves for this technically, because this can still be a little bit caustic. I've never had any problems with that, but if you're concerned about it, please feel free to use gloves. All right. I'm going to kind of make a bar about that big. All right, so I'm just going to kind of score along here. They're still soft enough for me to cut, which is why we do it at this point. If you wait too long, the bars will get harder and then you won't be able to cut them. Okay, now what I'm going to do, these are really thick, so I'm actually going to cut them in half to make a thinner bar. So here are our beautiful bars of soap. Now, these are not ready for use yet. They need to be left to harden as well as to cure, so that way they'll be safe to use for at least a month. So what we're going to do is I've got a cookie sheet with a towel on it, and I just put them in a single layer. Then I'll just put a layer on top like that, and then another layer, and I'll cover it up. And I'm going to put this somewhere kind of out of the way, probably like in a closet somewhere, where these can cure for that amount of time that they need to. And then I'll probably come by once every week or so and flip them over just so I can make sure that they're drying evenly. And in about 4 weeks, they're going to be ready. And I have to say that a couple of bars of soap and a handmade face cloth or two or dishcloth makes an absolutely beautiful handmade gift. All right, so thank you for joining me on another episode of I Demand a Homestead. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to press the subscribe button and you'll join me again for another video soon. All right, if you guys have any kind of thoughts or if you've made your own soap and have questions and want to talk about it, please feel free to post in the comment section. I'd love to chat. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.